This podcast is brought to you by Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at San Diego State University. This new medium for learning amplifies our mission of providing intellectually stimulating content. Welcome to Constitutional Context. This is Professor Glenn Smith with another 5-minute bite of background about the Court and Constitution. Happy first Monday in October, the day the Supreme Court comes back from summer recess and begins oral arguments and case decisions through next June. This term, the Court is jumping right into its work. The day after First Monday, the justices are confronting one of the most consequential and long-delayed questions in constitutional jurisprudence. When does political gerrymandering violate the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution? Political gerrymandering is manipulation of state legislative or congressional districts by a state's majority party to enhance its political domination at the expense of the minority party. The question has obvious political implications. Political gerrymandering has been done in states where Democrats dominate state legislatures and governorships, but because Republican Party office holders now dominate a majority of state governments, a green light for political gerrymandering will disproportionately empower the Republican agenda, including by enabling state laws about voter qualifications and election practices for federal, congressional, and presidential elections. On the other hand, if the court accepts the invitation of the challengers in Gill versus Whitford to invalidate the state legislative districts Wisconsin drew in 2011, federal courts will serve as potentially significant brakes on rampant abuse of majority political power. Beyond the political dimensions, Gill versus Whitford shows that declaring a legal principle is not the same as being able to implement it effectively. It's been 31 years since the court held in Davis versus Bandemer that partisan manipulation of legislative districts violates the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, quote, when the electoral system is arranged in a manner that will consistently degrade a voter's influence on the political process as a whole, unquote, over multiple election cycles. In the intervening years, the court has been unable to agree on a yardstick for determining when unconstitutional partisan manipulation is present. The result is that no Supreme Court majority has ever found a districting scheme to be unconstitutional on partisan gerrymandering grounds. The classic example is Veith versus Jubileerer. In this 2004 decision, 4 justices developed 3 different standards for drawing the line between acceptable and unacceptable partisanship. That was partly why Justice Scalia, who led another group of 4 justices seeking to retreat from the partisan gerrymandering battlefield, argued that the court's political gerrymandering line was incapable of principled application. Yet, because Justice Kennedy held out hope for a future limited and precise test, the court lacked a critical 5th vote to close the constitutional door. The Gill versus Whitford challengers seek to offer a court majority, and especially Justice Kennedy, an effective solution to this long-standing dilemma. Specifically, challengers urge the court to adopt the definition used by the lower judges striking down the Wisconsin districting plan. These judges used a 3-element doctrine employing a disputed efficiency gap metric, which focuses on the extent to which a districting scheme deliberately wastes minority party votes by dispersing or concentrating them. Ultimately, Gill versus Whitford pointedly illustrates the political thicket the court enters when it deals with political gerrymandering arguments. By contrast to cases defining and remedying district manipulation on numerical or racial lines, defining the law violation in political gerrymandering cases is inherently more subjective. And active participation in partisan contests by federal judges, whose legitimacy depends upon being seen as above politics, is especially likely to seem inappropriate. In this area, fraught with at least the appearance of a politicized judiciary, judges and justices also confront the reality that non-judicial remedies are unlikely. This is because political gerrymandering aims to insulate a state's majority party from being voted out of office by voters affiliated with the minority party. In several ways, then, the court has picked quite an explosive firecracker for celebrating the opening days of its 2017 term. If you'd like to further explore this subject, or the court and the Constitution generally, I regularly teach courses at SDSU's Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. See the current course catalog at neverstoplearning.net/OLLI.